respect. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to be back talking with Team USA. I had the pleasure of speaking with some of you last year, and some moved on to high school, and others came up from the 6th grade. So is this 7th and 8th grade? Is that who I'm talking with?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. So yeah, I used to be a middle school teacher way back in the early 2000s or so, and it's part of my life I really cherish, and I can't wait to get back and talk with school students any chance I get. So I really appreciate the invitation to come back. I want to thank Kaylee for the excellent job she did to coordinate this visit. I think we tried to connect back in December, and my schedule changed at the last minute, so I had to reschedule. I appreciate her professionalism in helping me get this scheduled and on time and all that good stuff. So today I wanted to talk with all of you about finding your purpose and defining your character in a changing world. We live in a very, very fast-paced world these days. Much more so than any other time in history, and really like the history of the world. We are going into uncharted territory of how fast technology changes, business changes, things like that. So what can you do to be prepared for that kind of world we're going into? And I'm going to make the argument today and challenge you that it has to do with your core, your inner self, your core. If you've got a strong core, I think you're going to be armed, you're going to be prepared to handle whatever this world's got to throw at you. And I'm not sure a lot of people are spending time in school and in their life preparing their core for what this world has in store for them. So, is that a good topic to talk about today? Is that going to work for you? Will that hold your attention for a little bit? Yeah. My plan was to spend about an hour. Is that going to work for you?
That works well.
Okay, great. So as I mentioned, I wanted to get to a point where we talk about your core, and what I mean by that is a personal mission statement, a personal vision statement. I want to find out what the content of your character is. We're going to define some of these things in just a second. I want to talk about a moonshot. Anybody have any idea what a moonshot is? Try it.
To shoot straight for the moon, like to aim as high as you can.
Yeah. That term came to mean something in this country back in the 1960s, and we'll do a quick history lesson on what that was in the 1960s and what I think it should mean now. So you folks have a mission, right? Got this off your website this morning. Talk to me about your mission. What is your mission as Team USA? Yes?
Make everyone feel wanted and like a family.
Correct. Family is one of the points in your star, right? Yeah? What else? What's your mission?
To be a model student for the school.
Excellent. Leadership, right? Model student for the school.
Take pride in what you do.
Take pride in what you do. Why is that important?
Because not everybody takes pride in what they do. Like, we push themselves down even more, but we take pride because we feel we need to and that we like what we do.
I find that so much. I now am fortunate enough to work at Northwestern Medical Center, as Jacob announced in my introduction. And I've taken over more and more departments over the last couple of years and get to work with some really interesting people. And in doing so, I get to hire a lot of people. And I look for pride. I look for that pride of ownership of, do they have a purpose? They have a reason to be there. And I look for not so much of what they can do, but how they do it. It's so important. So many people think they have the technical skills to do a job. You know, first part of my job is information systems, so technology. And I get all these people and they show me all the wonderful technology they can do. They can't talk to people, and they can't interact with people nicely, and they have problems with personal relationships. So I'm like, you got the technical side, you're missing your core. Without your core, all the technical skills in the world aren't going to do you any good. So that pride in what you do and how you do it is so important. What haven't we talked about? What other points in the star haven't we talked about? This side of the room.
Dedication.
Dedication. So dedication to kicking my tail and hockey, right, Joe? Yeah. Now, dedication to what?
Like your job, like you're dedicated to your job, you're always going to want to be there and do your hardest work.
To find a purpose. To have a purpose for what you do. One of my closing slides in this presentation is to make sure you folks have choices. I think all of you will be successful in this world if you get to a point in your career, in your later life, and you say, you know what, I've got choices. Maybe my job didn't turn out the way I wanted, or maybe I'm not living where I want, but you've got enough in your arsenal, you've built up enough skills that you've got choices in your life. When I meet people that are depressed or down on themselves, they feel like they're trapped. Okay? I want to make sure you've got skills, that you've got choices. And if you keep a dedication to that, you're going to create more and more opportunities for yourself. Very good. Did we miss anything there?
Teamwork,
Teamwork. Why is that important?
because it brings us closer as a family and as a class.
Yeah. I shared a slide last year that had an African proverb on it. And it said, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. Okay? I see a lot of people thinking they're going to be the smartest guy in the room, and they're going to go far, and they're going to go fast. They're only going to get so far. Okay? If you work together as a team, you're going to get much farther. I work with my teams all the time. Okay? I work with teams to say, what can we change, can we build, and what can we do better in healthcare? And trust me, no one person can do it alone by themselves. But if we work as a team, we can do better things faster. Do we catch them all? And I love your mission, past, present, and future. Talks to me about consistency over time. If you keep those core values, again, back to your core, if you keep those 5 points of the story in your core, consistency over time is going to breed that excellence. You've always done it that way. You're currently doing it that way. You're going to continue to do it that way. That consistency is key. So my question to you is, you've learned about a mission statement for your team. Have you ever written a mission statement for yourself?
Yeah. We've been writing our PLPs,
Yeah.
personal learning plans. We started that earlier in the year, and every day we're building more tools to enhance it.
Love that for us. Every day we're using those tools. We're working on those tools. What's in your, would you call them personal plan?
Yeah, personal learning plans. At least mine is describing what I want to do and how I'm going to get there.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to try to reinforce some of those concepts as well. So we're going to get back to this personal mission statement in just a second. To do a personal mission statement, you have to understand who you are. And who you are is a combination kind of like where you came from, what you're putting into yourself, what other people are putting into you, and where you want to go. You have next Monday off from school, right?
Yeah.
Why? Martin Luther King Day. So I thought it was appropriate. Let's listen to some words that Martin Luther King had talked about. And of course, some famous speeches, the I Have a Dream speech. Anybody go on the band trip last summer? Anybody get to stand in the footsteps on the Lincoln Memorial? Okay, some of you got to stand in the exact footsteps where Martin Luther King stood and looked over the monuments in Washington. You stood in the exact footsteps where he gave the I Have a Dream speech. It's a pretty cool moment for Jacob and I. We did the same. So he gave this speech, talked about obviously the racial tensions in the 1960s. I'd like to report that we've made improvements. I think we've made a lot of improvements in the 1960s. If you watch the news in the last few months, boy, it seems kind of confusing of what's still going on out there, that we haven't gotten past certain things. But beyond the racial tensions of the 1960s, Martin Luther King was talking about, if we're going to judge one another, how should we judge each other? And what should we judge each other on?
Will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. I have a dream today.
Well, it took me a half hour to capture that. So he used the words, we won't judge the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. So talk to me about what is the content of your character. Joe, you look like you're ready to say something.
Like who you are and like your work ethics and stuff.
Could be your work ethic. What else?
Good personality.
Your personality. Caleb?
Kind of like what you said earlier, your core.
Cool, yeah. It just it comes down to that core. Jacob?
The way you present your core and your personality.
Yeah. All good stuff there. I'm going to share a story that's going to talk about your core. It's going to talk about your purpose. It's going to talk about the content of your character. I was at a meeting last year, and a gentleman shared this story, and it really stuck out to me. The story goes, it's back in Roman times. You know, think dusty trails, think stone buildings and castles and all that sort of thing. And you got Roman guards. And this rabbi, was a teacher, and he lived in the city, and he'd go out of the city walls, and he would take trails, and he'd go through the countryside, and he would go and visit schools or go visit parts of villages, and he would educate people on the law, or maybe on religion or whatever. But he was a teacher. He was a philosopher. He was a thinker. And he'd go out each day, and he would talk to people in these villages. And one day he's walking back, and he's following all these different paths, going back to his house, and he gets lost in his thoughts. And he finds himself on the wrong path, and all of a sudden a man yells at him, "Who are you, and why are you here?" Exactly reaction. He looked up and he said, "What? Who are you, and why are you here?" The rabbi just looked back at that Roman guard and smiled. He got this warm smile over his face, and he said, "Aha. Well, this upset the Roman guard. You don't screw around with these guys." This guy comes down from the wall, walks right up to him and says, "Who are you, and why are you here?" And that little rabbi just sat there with this grateful look on his face. And it was upsetting the Roman guard. "For the third time, I'm going to ask you, who are you, and why are you here?" It's very intimidating, isn't it? Imagine if I had a sword. The rabbi just looked back at the Roman soldier and said, "Who do you work for?" The soldier said, "I work for Caesar." The rabbi just nodded, like, "Cool. How much does Caesar pay you?" The Roman guard responded, "Pays me 100 denarii a day." $100 a day. The rabbi smiled. And he said, "I'd pay you 200 denarii a day to stand outside my door. Every morning when I wake up and I walk outside, I wish you'd ask me those same two questions. Who are you, and why are you here?" And he said, "That is the meaning of life right there. That gives you purpose. That'll help me set my core each day." And of course, the guard didn't know what to do with that answer. So ask yourself this question every day. And just imagine me yelling it at you as soon as you wake up each morning. Who are you, and why are you here? Make sure your life has purpose. If you're just going through the motions and you're bouncing through 7th and 8th grade, you have no purpose, you haven't set any goals. Your life will be much more interesting. You'll be looking for a purpose. You'll be trying to connect to that purpose every day if you ask yourself, who are you, and why are you here? This will help you get to know the content of your character. And what I mean by that is, what will you stand for? What will you stand for, and what will not be negotiable in your life? Have a plan for these things. Forrest talked about a plan. Caleb and others reinforced this concept. If you don't have a plan, any road will take you to where you're going. But if you have a plan, your plan is your path of where you want to get to. What will you stand for? What will not be negotiable? Do you have a plan for the first time some kid says, "Here, smoke this. Here, drink this"? You're laughing? Do you have a plan for that? You don't know the content of your character until that moment happens in your life. And if you think you have a plan that's going to take you to college, or going to take you to the military, or take you to certain places, and you didn't have a plan for, "Here, smoke this," get your core solid. Get your core to a place where you know that's not negotiable. I'm not messing with that stuff. That's not going to be part of my plan. It's not going to be part of my life. Does that make sense? If those things have happened to you, set a new plan. Set a new goal. That'll never happen to me again. Okay? I've got a brighter future. I've got a better vision than what "Here, smoke this" is going to offer me. Who are you when no one's looking? I think this is the key component to your character, to your purpose, to your core. It's one thing of who you're going to be in front of others. Who are you when no one's looking? Who are you when you walk down the street and you find someone's wallet? Open the wallet. Oh, there's the person's name, address. There's their driver's license. There's $100 inside it. Do you return the wallet? Do you return the wallet and the money? Do you take the money and throw the wallet away? Who are you when no one's looking? Who are you when you're online and no one's around? Okay? What is the content of your character when no one's looking? Get that in your core. What's non-negotiable? Make sense? Anybody know who this lady is? Joe? Mother Teresa, yeah. She was a missionary. She worked in a place called Calcutta, India. I like this poem, prayer, whatever it is. I like the reasons, the purpose for this, called Do It Anyway. People are often unreasonable, irrational, self-centered. Forgive them anyway. Be that person. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfishness, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're successful, and you will win someone faithful friends and some genuine enemies, be successful anyway. If you're honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others can destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. These are core principles that you should have and could have in your life if you work on them and if you build them. What I want to get to is get an idea in your head that this world will define you if you don't define yourself first. If you don't know what you're going to stand for, what you're going to be, what's non-negotiable, trust me, there's a lot of folks out there that want to define who you are. They want to sell to you, they want to manipulate you, they want to put you in a box. And that might be for a job, that might be for certain purchases you're going to make in this world. If you kind of have a plan, you stand a much better chance of being successful. So give it your best shot. Give it the best shot you have, and it'll never be enough. Give it your best shot anyway. I talk to my employees about that all the time, about being successful and being going the extra mile to every customer we serve. Give it your best shot. You'll be exhausted at the end of the week. No one will ever thank you. Do it anyway. Who's this guy? Good. What was his moonshot? Going to the moon. I think I spent another half hour getting a video of this.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, as the others do.
So this was in 1962. The Russians, supposedly the United States' arch enemy, had just put a spaceship, or first man into space, Sputnik, and he wanted a challenge, he wanted a goal, he wanted a vision for the United States. We'll put the first man on the moon. Didn't know how we were going to do it. If you listen to more of that speech, he says, we're going to do it in a rocket made out of new metals and alloys that haven't even been invented yet. And he goes on in the speech and says, we're going to do it by the end of the decade. He said this in 1962. And I like what he says here. He starts giving goals and visions for a country. Not because they're easy, but because they're hard. That is simply the reason why we're going to do it. And the goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energy and skill. When you're writing personal goals and personal vision statements for yourself, make sure you can measure them. How will you know you'll be successful? Is going to college a goal? Right, good. What's it going to take to get there? What's the application process? What's the savings plan? What are the other opportunities we need to see to get there? And then how do I measure my success once I get there? Diploma, grades, achievements of that sort? And will you set up challenges for yourself, and will you accept them? So checking for alignment, this brings me back to mission. We had a moonshot. We had a vision that was broader than anything any country in the world had ever thought of before. We're going to put a man on the moon. This seems routine these days. We don't go to the moon very often anymore, but even this morning we actually had a spacewalk on the International Space Station. But President Kennedy wanted to check up on his moonshot. So he goes down to NASA in Florida. Now, I don't know if this story is true or not, but it's so good it might as well be, so we're just going to parrot it. He says he's there to give a speech at the Kennedy Space Center, which then it wasn't called the Kennedy Space Center because he was still president, but he was checking up on NASA. And he was there to give a speech to encourage them to keep moving forward about how to put a man on the moon. When you have a mission, when you're leading a team, you want to make sure everybody's in alignment. What is alignment? What does it mean? If you have an alignment. Caleb?
Like a straight line.
Straight line?
Alignment like good, bad. Like alignment could be like you're sort of choosing a side.
Oh, I see where you're aligning with either side. Yep, I see where you're going with that. Yep.
Facing toward an objective.
Facing toward an objective. Yep. So we talk about at the hospital, if we have a mission, if we have a goal that we want to achieve, we want alignment from our staff. And sometimes we have to convince our staff to do something. Well, if the staff is 70 or 80 people, how many people in this room, and you're all pulling in different directions, do we have alignment? We talk about, can we get everybody pulling in the same direction? If everybody pulling in the same direction, is reaching that goal easier? President Kennedy was looking for alignment when he went to NASA to check on how this moon project was going. And they're walking through the hallways of Port Canaveral, Florida, and he's there to give a speech. And he's there with his security detail and all that stuff, and they're going through the back corridors, and he comes up to this custodian, and he introduces himself, and he says hi to the custodian. And he knows he's a custodian. The guy's dressed in a gray jumpsuit. He's got a broom, very clearly what the guy does for a living. President Kennedy says, "Sir, what do you do here at NASA?" The man looked him in the eye and said, "I helped to put a man on the moon." Is that alignment? The guy sweeping the floor is aligned with the vision of the mission. My job is to help put a man on the moon. So we all serve a purpose in this world, and everything we do contributes to whatever goal or mission we want to accomplish. So if your goal or mission, your goal for Team USA, do you have any goals as Team USA, what you want to accomplish? Talk to me about that.
I mean, Team USA is always putting out goals. One of our biggest ones that happens every year is to have the biggest and best veterans there that we can. And I feel like this year we definitely reached that goal.
I think you did too. It was an awesome experience. I attended it. You were going to say? What goals did Team USA set for itself? Make it better. That's pretty generic. Any specific goals? Other specific goals?
We strive to be the best you can be 100% of the time.
Yeah. Are you working on a class gift or something like that right now? Or something, Jacob, what were you telling me about? I thought you were time capsule or something like that.
Oh, our 8th grade stuff.
That was what the 8th grade of Team USA is planning to do at the end of the year.
Okay, tell me more about that. What is it?
There were many different ideas that we had.
Sounds like you just set a goal, right?
One of them was to have all of them together, like a bonfire or something, and then
Yeah.
a time capsule out by that tree.
Good. Okay, so you're still defining your goal.
Yeah.
Once you set that goal, are you going to need alignment to reach that goal?
Yeah.
Maybe fundraising, maybe coordination. Okay, it's going to take all of you to get there. This past Tuesday, President Barack Obama, he declared a new moonshot. Does anybody know what it is? Put it up on the screen. He said we want to cure cancer. Okay? We're still using that terminology of moonshot. It's so far out there. Has anybody thought to do it? Has anybody aligned the resources to do it? His objective now is to align the resource of the United States government and cure cancer. What's your moonshot? I put this up there for you, Sully. What's your moonshot? What's too big for you to even think about right now that you'd like to accomplish in your lifetime? And I do. What's your moonshot? Can I share mine? I'm going to give away $1 million in my lifetime. I don't have $1 million. It is my moonshot to give away $1 million to charity in my lifetime. It's a moonshot, right? Pretty crazy. I don't have $1 million. I don't know how I'm paying for kids' college education right now, but I made my commitment a few years ago. I'm going to give away $1 million. A couple years ago, I had the privilege of being on the board of a local YMCA, and my peers elected me to be president of the YMCA. It was over in New York. The building needed a new roof, $300,000 for a new roof. I led a campaign, built a team, got contributions, got loans, all that stuff. We put a $300,000 roof on a YMCA to keep it open. I was like, oh, there's my moonshot. There's maybe a third of it. A couple of years ago, I was wanted to set some other goals for myself, and I wanted to do an Ironman race. For those of you that don't know, an Ironman is a triathlon. It consists of swimming, biking, and running. I said, okay, I've ran before. I didn't own a bike. I didn't know how to swim more than a length or two of a pool. I said, I'm going to make it my goal by the time I'm 40 to do my first half Ironman, 70-mile race. 1 mile swim, 56-mile bike, 13-mile run. I did it. I want to try it again. Did it this next year. Third year I did it. This year I set my sights on a full Ironman. 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, 26-mile run. It'll take me somewhere between 14 and 16 hours. That's good. Then I found out about a charity partner with Ironman to raise money for cancer research. So this year I'm dedicating my time to raising at least $5,000 for cancer research. $5,000 takes me a long way towards, just a little way towards my $1 million goal, but it's my moonshot. If I can lay my head on my pillow at the end of the night, at the end of the year, to say I raised $5,000 towards cancer research, it may have made someone's life better. I think a $300,000 roof on a YMCA made someone's life better, or a lot of people's lives better. And each year, I'm going to keep challenging myself by setting new goals to try to get to that $1 million. And who knows? Maybe by the time I'm 60, I'm the head of some charity or other organization, and $1 million isn't even a moonshot anymore. But I challenge you to set a moonshot. Come up with something crazy that you want to do to better this world. And then own it and try to come up with a plan to make it happen. I also try to learn something every time I put together a presentation, no matter if it's for work, schools, whatever I'm doing. I didn't know this. When we landed the first man on the moon, they landed on July 20th. They didn't step on the moon until the 21st. A little nugget for you. Forrest, you may have already done this, and you're probably already working on it. I've worked with students before on one-page plans. I would like you sometime, if we want to do it today, or if we want to do it, yeah, let's take 3 minutes. We've got some time. Let's take 3 minutes. If you got a piece of paper, just make quadrants. Make a big X on it. Make 4 quadrants. Put in the top left. Write down my personal mission statement.
You don't have paper, raise your hand. Do you have paper? Anybody else need paper?
Good. So top left is, what is my personal mission statement or vision statement? There's a difference between the two, but I don't think we need to get into that right now. Top right corner, what are the contents of your character? Bottom left, what's your walk on the moon? What's your moonshot? Lastly, what's your plan? Let's take 2 or 3 minutes and just work quietly. See how many of those quadrants you can fill in And this is simply a brainstorming exercise. There's no right, there's no wrong. You don't have to share it with anybody, or you can share it with everybody. It's going to be your choice. If you only get one of the 4 quadrants done, that's fine. If you get all 4 of them done, that's fine. I use this PowerPoint templates because I like the gears turning. I want you thinking. All right, about 1 more minute. Anybody want to share? Anybody want to share a mission or a vision statement? Yes?
You want to share?
Do you want to share?
A mission statement is that I set a goal for myself is to keep learning as much as I can possible.
Excellent. Keep learning something every day.
Mine is when I get older to give all poor people homes.
Solving homelessness?
To start an animal shelter.
Nice. Others? Other mission statements or vision statements?
I said to try not to say no all the time. So like when a door opens and if I think it's a good door, just say yes instead of saying no.
That's right. I smile because I work with staff all the time on this question of a concept. Begin with yes or begin with no. My attitude in life is I begin with yes. You ask me a question, my immediate response is yes. But I might have to go through a process to get to know if it's a dangerous thing, or if all of you said, can we go home for the weekend right now? Yes. There's rules why you can't do that right now. I have other team members that work with me, their first reaction is always no. And you have to warm them up to yes. So it's just a way of looking at life. I like to begin with yes. That's a great vision statement, I would say. My vision statement's vision over visibility. There's certain things I know I can't see, but I still want to have a vision of what's coming next. Vision over visibility. How about the contents of your character? Did anybody fill out that one out? Yes.
I'm funny, I'm smart when I want to be, and I am very caring.
Very excellent. To be caring, to be funny, to be smart. Excellent contents. When you open a book, table of contents, what makes up that book? What's your name?
Caleb.
Caleb. Wouldn't that be cool if we opened up the book of Caleb's life? Funny, smart, caring. Those are great contents. What else? Who else has contents to their character? Continue to work on that. What's your walk on the moon? Be brave. Yes.
Mine is to either work alongside or at least get to see one of my favorite bands, and that's the only part of it. Another is to become a singer.
Yep. Nice. Any others? Any other walks on the moon? What is your moon shot? What is so brave, so big?
To save a life.
Could be a goal. Jacob.
To play on a college baseball team.
Okay. You're not thinking big enough. Saving lives, bands, baseball teams, these aren't big enough. Forrest?
Well, I was gonna say, to attend one of the most prestigious music colleges, but you said that they're not big. That idea isn't big enough, so I'm trying to.
I'm going for the outrageous. These are shots on the moon, folks. Yeah.
My walk on the moon would be helping solve world hunger.
That's a moon shot.
Go to space within my lifetime.
Okay. Space tourism's going to be here soon. Money's what drives you? You can become a millionaire, sure.
Help cure cancer.
Cure cancer. President Obama's probably got a job for you today. Yes.
To take care of all the abused in this world.
Animal abuse. Okay. Those are moon shots. Yes.
Mine, usually there's storms or earthquakes, so people get hurt by them, and
Yeah.
we want to take care of the people who are injured by them.
And maybe that is by preventing them or through early detection systems or something like that. So you can go into a career of how do I help solve them. Those are good. Yes, more, great.
Stop child abuse.
Stop child abuse.
To start a business to encourage kids to not behave, but to be more focused on schoolwork and the importance of school.
Excellent. Cool. What's your plan? Anybody put any bullets down for their plan? What's it going to take to get there, to either reach your mission or even your walk on your moon? Caleb?
Like working hard, and just sticking with it.
Consistency, sticking with it. Others? Yes?
Research what it's gonna take to get there.
Research what it's going to take to get there. Developing a plan. Developing a plan is part of the plan, right? What else? How about this table back here? What is standing for?
I said one of mine is finishing high school.
Finishing high school. Thanks for sharing that. Great. Keep this piece of paper. When we're done, fold it up, put it in your pocket. For some of you, your mom or dad or somebody will find it in the washing machine. For some of you, go home, put it in a drawer next to your bed. Take it out every once in a while. Take it out at the end of the school year. Have a little chuckle. Then write something more on it. But don't throw this piece of paper away. Keep adding to it and keep thinking, what is my moonshot? What is my personal mission statement? What's the vision statement for me? What are the contents of my character? If you make a mistake and you tripped over something you thought was going to be non-negotiable in your life, put it down. Write it down and say, how's this not going to happen to me again? Redefine your plan constantly. If you keep this one-page plan And keep it up, you'll be surprised at what you can accomplish in your life. So I spent all that time working on your core, your personal mission, your moonshots. Because I wanted to get into the world we live in today. And these are some of the slides I used last year. What are we looking at here? Vermont. For those of you that were in my session last year, how many people live in Vermont?
600,000?
Just yell it out.
600,000?
About 600,000, 626,000. Then of course the United States, 316 million people. 18 million of those people just live in New York City alone. So New York City is 36, it would take 36 Vermonts to equal one New York City in population. The world, 7 billion people. India and China alone, 2.5 billion combined. If Facebook were a country, it'd be the third largest country in the world. You come from Vermont, there's 600,000 of us. Translation, China and India have more honor kids than we have kids. Do you think you're going to be entering a world of global competition?
Yeah.
2 countries have more honor kids than we have kids. That's the competition you're going up against. You're going to be hitting the job market in 2020, 2025, somewhere in there. China and India have more honor kids than we have kids. That's your global competition. China will soon become the #1 English-speaking country in the world. There's 1 billion people in China. Many of them are learning English. 2.4 billion people use the internet now. How many people are in this world?
7.
I hope that screams at you as opportunity. How many of you use the internet?
All of us.
You know something that almost 5 billion people in the world don't know how to do. That's opportunity. So because of this world is going to change fast. You have companies like Facebook, like Google, like Microsoft. They're investing billions of dollars. You know what they want more than anything? Those other 5 billion people in the world to be online. So if you can get them online, you can sell them stuff. Okay? You folks know something that 5 billion people in this world don't know, how to use the internet. That is opportunity for you. The world is going to change fast. Companies are going to come and go faster than ever. I want you to be able to enter that job market with the skills and knowledge to be able to accomplish what you want so that you have choices in life. I want you to be able to jump from industry to industry because you have education, because you know who you are, because you've established a core. Define yourself before the world does. You will be weighed and measured in ways you haven't even imagined yet. What does that mean? You will be weighed and measured. Hill?
You'll be tested and be pushed harder than you imagined.
True. Anybody know what profiling is? Oh, you've got to know this concept. Please do not graduate from
I do.
profiling.
It's like when you look at someone, it's like kind of like judging. If you look at someone and you like say that there's something.
You're on the right track.
Like, so I
profiling.
look
We're
at
not going to move off this
someone-
point until we know what profiling is.
Like putting a label on someone.
Putting a label on someone. That's really good.
Researching about them.
Researching about somebody. Do companies profile us? Why?
They want to know who they're dealing with.
They want to know who they're dealing with. What'd you say?
Everybody has one of who you are.
Everybody has to have a profile as who you are. Maybe. Profile is, what are your habits? Your habits kind of make up the contents of your character. So what are your habits? If a company can understand your habits, they can sell to you. They can profile you. The government's got a profile on you. Businesses have a profile on you. If I go online and I look for a certain car, I'm going to buy a Ford F-150 truck. I'll guarantee you the next day on the internet, when I go to Google or Facebook, I start seeing advertisements for Ford F-150 trucks. they're profiling my behavior. Guarantee it. Go ahead and buy a car and then see what kind of advertising you see online. Those car companies are profiling you. Car companies are getting to the point where they're tracking you when you're driving. So if you're driving from here to New York City, they're going to know how many times you're going to stop to pee, when you're going to get hungry, and when you're going to need to get gas. You think that's profiling? Why are they going to profile you? So they can send you advertisements to the dashboard in your car to say, next rest stop, 20 minutes away. There's a McDonald's, here's a coupon. Okay, there's a bathroom, there's a gas station, here's your choices, but we're going to convince you to go to this one for profiling you. So your habits that you do online, your habits that you do in life are a profile. You're going to be weighed and measured, you're going to be profiled in ways that you can't even imagine yet. I've got people working for me at Northwestern Medical Center, and their job is predictive analytics. We are predicting who is going to come back to the hospital and for what reasons, and why, and see if we can't prevent it. The most expensive type of healthcare we have right now is through their emergency department. We've got people that come to the emergency department 4, 5, 6 times a month. If we can prevent the next visit, we save the system money. We are profiling people's healthcare habits. If we can get them a nurse, if we can get them hooked up to a primary care provider, we can prevent that next hospital admission or ED visit. We profile patients. Okay? There's a huge industry in predictive analytics, predicting people's behaviors. Be a force multiplier. If you've got a solid core, if you've got a foundation, if you're happy, if you're funny, you're a force multiplier. How many people do you know are negative? Anybody know a negative person in your world? We all do. When you get around them with other people, are other people negative? They're a force multiplier. They've multiplied that negativity. Be that positive person. Be that happy person. Be that funny person and multiply them. And I want you to find ways to constantly fuel and refuel. Caleb said it. He wants to learn something new every day. That should be a goal for every single one of you. Learn something new every day. We talked about this, setting short and long-term goals. Work on them each day. I've been doing a study in the past year on consistency. What do you do every single day consistently to make you better? And I started studying successful people. I've been studying people that do these Ironman triathlons. And they say, you want to be good, you want to be great? Be consistent. Don't go run 13 miles once a week. Run 5 miles a day. Be consistent. If you meet the greatest musicians in the world, what do they practice every day? Scales. Be consistent. There's a commercial out there with Tom Brady throwing a football. How many times do they show him throwing that football? Okay. The commercial shows him throwing it 1,000 times on all these little boxes. Trust me, Tom Brady doesn't throw a football once a week. He performs that same action consistently every single day, and that's why he's excellent at what he does. Be thankful. We don't teach being thankful enough. And I've got the words up here called yellow car to remind me of doing this exercise. This is a trust exercise. I need you to close your eyes for a couple of seconds and keep them closed. So ready? Close your eyes. Just kind of relax yourself. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Keep your eyes closed. Raise your hand if you ride in or know somebody in your immediate family that has a yellow car that you would see on a daily basis. Raise your hand if you ride in or know somebody that has a yellow car that you ride in on a daily basis. Excellent. Keep your eyes shut. The next time you see a yellow car, say to yourself, I am thankful for my family, my education, whatever you're thankful for, think of something. Then think of me. Next time you see a yellow car, just say the words, I am thankful for. You can open your eyes now. I'll guarantee you by Monday when you come to school, and if you want, you can bug the heck out of Jacob and go, Jacob, oh my God, I saw 4 yellow cars this weekend. You will be surprised at how many yellow cars are on the road. The yellow cars have nothing to do with anything. It's just your mind never sees them until I tell you to see them. You'll come to school next Monday or next week and you're going to say, I can't believe it. I drove to Burlington with my family and we passed 4 yellow cars. So that's 4 chances to be thankful. Mark my words. I went through a workshop on this a couple of years ago, and to this day I go, oh, yellow car. And I stop and put a smile on my face and say, I'm thankful for my wife, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for my health. Okay? Be a thankful person. It's amazing what it does to your core. That's what I have for you, folks. We did it in 50 minutes. What questions do you have for me? Recap. Tell me anything, any quip, any little blurb that you learned to do today that you didn't know before.
So is there a little bit more details about your job in particular?
I can. So my job is Vice President of Information Systems and Compliance. So I run the technology department for a medical center. In the last couple of weeks, I've taken on past year, I've taken on all of medical records, which have gone digital. So we have all your medical records electronic. And then I work with people and teams on what's called the first impressions team. When you walk into a hospital, what's your first impression? We want to change that culture in healthcare. So patient access, every person you walk up to and get registered for a doctor's appointment is now reporting through me, as well as hospitality, restaurant and catering, environmental services, things of that nature. So my role's kind of expanded quite a bit in the past year, and I'm very fortunate for that. So technology was kind of the core of what got me into healthcare, and now it's expanded. Tell me something you've learned today, or just had an aha moment in the past hour and went, oh, that was cool. I did not. Jacob.
The Roman guard story. Like
Roman
you
guards.
do that before, but just you doing it again really sparked it over.
So what are the 2 questions you're going to ask yourself each day?
Who are you?
Who are you and why are you here? If you're going to forget that, write it down in your personal plan that we made with that big cross. Who are you and why are you here? What else? Yes?
The yellow car, I didn't know I saw. I don't really think about it.
You're fortunate. But next time you see a yellow car, just smile and be thankful for something. What's the other hand? Yes?
The moonshot?
The moonshot. Keep a moonshot in your life. Keep something unreasonable, something that people haven't thought of before, something crazy. I don't know where it came to me, 8, 10 years ago. I'm like, give away $1 million. Go figure out how to do that. I don't know how to do it. Still figuring it out. But it's fun to keep in the back of my mind. Caleb?
Kind of like the core thing. I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, you are going into a hyper-changing world. Things are changing so fast. As soon as you buy the iPhone that's on the shelf, they're developing the next 2 versions of that before they have a chance to sell it to you. And it's not just the iPhone, it's everything. You are going to a world that's changing so fast. I want to make sure you have a solid core. Know who you are before this world defines you. Anything else? Yes?
How did you work up to your job?
How did I work up to my job? I barely graduated from high school. I was a pretty solid C student. I was one of the youngest kids to graduate my senior class just because I was born in late November and my parents started me in kindergarten when I was like 4. So I was like 16 or 17. I was nowhere near ready for college. My Spanish teacher said that they had a scholarship available to go live in Spain for 6 months as an exchange student. And I was like, that sounds cool, because I have nothing else to do tomorrow. So I was an exchange student in Spain, and that lesson, it was just a life lesson that taught me there's more stuff out than in the world that I knew about, and came back. I went back and applied for 2 colleges that had declined me. And I went and visited them and said, you declined me to come to your college, but I've really grown up in the past 6 months and I'd like to learn some more, and they let me in. And I spent 4 years at college, and I became a social studies teacher. I did secondary education and political science, and I loved being a social studies teacher. I was at a middle school in North Carolina, because it's the only place I could find a job. I was from upstate New York, applied for a bunch of jobs, went to North Carolina, they needed teachers.
Hello,
Hi,
I'm one guy for Kelsey Coleman.
excellent, we'll have her right now.
Thank you.
See, that's my teaching ability, just kick right in. But when I was a teacher, I got a master's in technology, and I was fortunate. I'm telling you folks right now that there's 3 billion people on the planet, 4 billion people on the planet that haven't used the internet yet. I was a teacher as the internet was just coming out. I taught myself how to make websites. I made websites with my students, and the district that I worked for had me become a systems engineer and a webmaster building websites for the schools in the district. And they couldn't give me a raise, but they would pay for my education, so I got a master's in instructional technology. So I got a master's degree in teaching people how to use technology. I was a director of technology, that they made me a director of technology within a few years after that. And then I went to work for the Albany College of Pharmacy, a pharmacy college. I was their chief technology officer. A few years after that, my hometown in Malone, New York, I got a call from them that they needed a chief information officer for their hospital, someone to run the technology program for their hospital. So I went and did that. I did that for 6 years, and I got interested in healthcare, so I got a second master's degree, and this one was in a master's in healthcare administration. So I never wanted to be like boxed into just technology. I always said technology and, so it's education and technology, then technology and healthcare. And now I'm kind of doing technology, healthcare, and administration. And it's really served me well. And it's given me the choices I'm trying to talk to you folks about. Keep your options open, keep growing. Thanks for that question. Time for 2 more questions? Yes?
What is the content of your character?
What is the content of my character? That's a good question. I would hope honesty and integrity. I would hope transparency. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an honest answer. Part of my job is Vice President of Compliance. Compliance means, are we doing what's right according to the rules and regulations of the law? And I have to make sure our organization, our hospital, is doing what's right according to the law. So a lot of times if people break the rules, I have to go talk to them about, this happened, we have to correct it. I have to have integrity, honesty, and transparency when I ask those questions. So I hope those are part of my table of contents, the contents of my character. I appreciate you asking that. I hope being funny is part of my character, but mostly honesty and integrity and transparency. Thank you for that question. Last one. Thank you all for your time.
So we'd like to thank you for coming in. So we'd like to give you an honorary Team USA bracelet and a T-shirt.
I get a T-shirt.
Yeah. We would like to update your picture on the Wall of Fame.
So it's older and grayer. Great. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.